Imagine a device with a voltage gain of 1 million. It can amplify tiny signals, compare voltages, filter noise, and perform mathematical operations. This incredible building block is called the operational amplifier, or simply the op-amp. In the previous lesson, we learned that transistors can operate in both linear and nonlinear regions depending on the application. While individual transistors are powerful building blocks, designing complex analog circuits directly from discrete transistors can quickly become difficult. Engineers needed a simple, versatile device that could perform amplification and many other analog functions using a standard building block. This led to the development of the operational amplifier, commonly known as the op-amp. This raises an important engineering question. What makes the op-amp so flexible that it has become one of the most widely used components in analog electronics? An operational amplifier is a high-gain differential amplifier that amplifies the voltage difference between two input terminals. These inputs are called the non-inverting plus input and the inverting minus input, while the output provides the amplified signal. An ideal op-amp has extremely high voltage gain, extremely high input impedance, and very low output impedance. These ideal characteristics allow it to amplify signals accurately without significantly loading the source circuit. In practical circuits, op-amps are almost always used with negative feedback. Feedback controls the amplifier's gain, improves stability, reduces distortion, and makes the circuit's behavior predictable. Intuitively, imagine an automatic steering system that constantly compares the car's current direction with the desired direction. Whenever an error appears, it immediately makes corrections to minimize the difference. An op-amp works in a similar way by amplifying the voltage difference between its two inputs. Physically, consider a sensor measuring temperature. The sensor produces only a tiny voltage that is difficult for a microcontroller to read directly. An op-amp amplifies this small voltage into a larger, more useful signal while preserving the original information. Mathematically, the output voltage is proportional to the difference between the two input voltages multiplied by the amplifier's open-loop gain. Because this gain is extremely large, even a tiny input difference can produce a significant output change unless negative feedback controls the amplification. Although op-amps are not typically used to amplify very high-frequency RF signals directly, they are essential in supporting analog circuits surrounding RF systems. They are commonly found in active filters, sensor interfaces, automatic gain control circuits, audio stages, signal conditioning circuits, and power supply regulation. Inside RF receivers and transmitters, op-amps process baseband and low-frequency signals after frequency conversion. They also generate reference voltages, stabilize bias circuits, and perform measurement functions throughout communication equipment. For RF engineers, understanding op-amps is essential because every complete communication system contains numerous analog support circuits built around them. The operational amplifier is one of the most versatile components in electronics. By changing only a few external components, the same op-amp can function as an amplifier, filter, comparator, integrator, differentiator, or oscillator. A common misconception is that an op-amp can amplify any signal perfectly. In reality, every practical op-amp has limits on bandwidth, output voltage, slew rate, and operating frequency that designers must consider. In the next lesson, we'll explore op-amp limitations in RF and discover why conventional operational amplifiers cannot simply replace RF amplifiers in high-frequency communication systems. In this lesson, we introduced the operational amplifier and learned how it amplifies the voltage difference between two input signals. We also saw why op-amps have become one of the most versatile building blocks in analog electronics and supporting RF circuits. In the next lesson, we'll explore op-amp limitations in RF and learn why high-frequency systems require specialized amplifier designs. If you found this useful, like the video, subscribe, and follow for the next lesson.